Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing this little Amazon Basics battery and battery pack charger for the Xbox One controller. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, I use my Xbox One controller on a PC. I actually use it in Bluetooth mode as well. The Bluetooth mode connection was a lot better than I ever thought it was going to be. I'm actually really blown away with how good the Bluetooth connection is. That being said, I was going through batteries fairly quickly. Now when I buy batteries, I usually buy the cheapest ones possible and they don't normally last that long. I usually go to the dollar store, pick up a couple packs, and not a lot of time has to go by in order for them to die inside of the controller. As many of you know, the Xbox One controller can run on two AA batteries. Now for me, the AA batteries that I use are the cheapest ones possible. I usually go to the dollar store and just pick up a bunch and use those inside the controller. Now there are two main issues with this. First and foremost, the dollar store batteries that I do pick up don't normally last a long time. The second issue is when they all die, I'm left without a working wireless controller. Now yes, one of the benefits of the Xbox One controller is that I can just plug it into the PC and play it wired if the batteries die. But the problem is if I ever want to use it wirelessly again, I have to go to the dollar store again and pick up more batteries. Now I was thinking about getting the official Xbox One Play and Charge kit. It's listed at 20 bucks. It looks like a pretty good deal for an officially branded and compatible battery. However, in Canada, it's listed at $31.94. To me, that's a little close to the actual price of the Xbox One controller, so I wanted to see what else was out there. Now, I will say going to a third party for a battery sometimes is hit and miss. Sometimes you run into a really great manufacturer. Sometimes you run into a manufacturer that has cut corners, and sometimes the batteries aren't as good. For example, in my GoPro, I decided to pick up some third-party batteries because they were a fraction of the cost of an officially branded GoPro battery. And did I run into quality issues? Yes. Is the brand of battery that I picked up on this page? Yes. Is it this brand here? Maybe. So I picked up some Smatry batteries for my GoPro and they lasted good for, I would say, maybe 5 or 6 months, and then they started to swell. So they were lithium batteries, and after a while they did start to swell, and noticeably so and dangerously so. That's not to say all of Smatry's products are bad, just the ones I had did have issues. I also used the Smatry charger with the batteries and used them as per their instructions. So I'm not sure what happened there. I was planning on doing a YouTube review on it at some point, but my GoPro is also an older one, so I don't know, I might still do one. But anyways, I've had batteries before, for example, from Fosman for a different type of camera, and they've worked great. Anyways, before I get even more distracted, cutting to the chase here, I did settle on these Amazon Basics batteries. You get 2 batteries plus a charger, so if one battery dies, you can just swap it out, continue playing wirelessly as opposed to having to hook it up wired. So I picked up this package with 2 batteries and a charger for a fraction of the price of the officially branded Xbox One battery. Now, Amazon Basics stuff is usually packaged pretty simple. Most of the time, it is just a cardboard box with a label on it describing what's inside. Opening the box, we can see the battery charger and both batteries. So the USB charger here feels pretty light and pretty cheap. It is fairly basic, there really isn't a whole lot to it. It weighs about the same as one of these batteries. Now in terms of placing these into the charger, they only really go one way. If you put them in incorrectly, they won't charge and they won't lock. They do lock into this charger with those 2 little plastic tabs, and if you put them in incorrectly, all you have to do is literally just turn them around, place them back in, and then they lock. Now putting these into the back of a controller, there are a few things that I do want to check out. I want to see the overall weight, I want to see how it fits, and I want to see if you can put the back door back on. Sometimes these third-party batteries, they do stick out a little bit and the controller doesn't go back together very well. So putting these in is pretty straightforward. It's pretty fail-safe too. You will notice if you do put it in wrong. They don't normally sit in there very well. It is a snug fit, so that's one thing I do notice is that the battery is a snug fit, but it is easy to take out and put in. If you do try to put it in incorrectly, it just won't fit altogether. When these batteries are installed, they actually sit in the controller very nicely. They don't really bubble out of the controller very much at all, so you can put on that back door with relative ease. The back door closes very nicely over these batteries, and it's one thing that I like. Now, I've used these for a number of weeks. While I can say this overall package is good, it's not perfect. There are some issues. First and foremost, I don't like the build quality of this charger. Functionally, it's absolutely fine. It will charge your batteries without issue. I've had zero issues with it. However, the build quality does not feel good. It feels very cheap. Yes, this is a lower budget product, but at the same time, I feel that improvements could be made. For example, this USB connector comes out at an angle. I don't know if it's done like that to fit into the Xbox, but at the same time, a USB connector should come out fairly straight. This looks like it was kind of bent and twisted in manufacturing. To kind of confirm that, I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but this isn't even a perfect rectangle. It kind of goes up and in on this USB connector. So I think something might have got messed up in manufacturing. It works fine, but it just doesn't look like it was built very well. On the front of it, this USB connector is not even mounted in there straight. It's mounted in on an angle. It works, but it looks like it was just kind of rushed. But on a positive note, this has actually worked really well when I plugged it into my computer to charge the battery. So I didn't need to plug it into an Xbox in order for this to charge. I just plugged it into a USB port on my computer and it worked absolutely fine. I've also plugged this into a wall adapter that has a USB port and it also charged my batteries. Now, in terms of battery life, I get between 10 and 15 hours out of a single charge. So that's a little lower than I thought I was going to get. I was hoping to get maybe closer to 20. They are 1200 mAh. So I figured maybe 20 hours out of one of these, but realistically, I'm getting between 10 and 15. So I'm really glad that this package includes two. That way I can always have one charging. When this one dies, I just swap it out of the charger, grab the fresh one and plug this one in to charge. I think where some people might not like the battery life on these is if they have two controllers and they're playing multiplayer games, because if you do get 10 to 15 hours, you're constantly going to have to charge these. If I'm not mistaken, the official Xbox battery gets between 20 and 30 hours on a single charge, so this does fall a little short in that regard, but at the same time, this does only take roughly 4 hours to charge. Overall, despite the shorter battery life, this package gets a thumbs up from me. I can plug the charger into my PC and it does work, so I'm happy about that. If you are looking for a longer battery life, maybe look at the official Xbox One option. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you have a different type of rechargeable solution that you use, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.